Hello, all, and welcome to the 2021 Martin Luther King Virtual Youth Conference. My name is Azeez Richardson. I am a 17-year-old high school senior at Science Park High School in Newark, New Jersey. As a young Black man who, over the past year, witnessed the deadly pandemic, the tragic police killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others, and just recently, the attempted coup by racist right-wing insurrectionists on the US Capitol, I often take refuge in Dr. King's calls for activism and civic engagement to guide me through these times. I have used Dr. King's legacy to inform myself of the need of what I call bottom-up legislation. That is, working with grassroots causes and enacting policies for those who are too often marginalized, overlooked, or ignored. And Governor Murphy, like Dr. King, has made it his career to center policymaking on those who need it most. Born into a working class family of 5 and a proud product of the public school education system, Governor Murphy embodies the hallmarks of success: civic awareness, education, and perseverance. Governor Murphy then went on to attend Harvard University, a school that I was just recently admitted to, and then the Wharton Business School. Prior to winning New Jersey's gubernatorial seat in 2018, Governor Murphy had already established a consummate record for philanthropy, public service, and altruism. He served as New Jersey's sole representative on the board of the NAACP, was the finance chair of the Democratic National Committee, or the DNC, and was nominated and confirmed to the ambassadorship to Germany by President Barack Obama. During his tenure as governor, Governor Murphy has consistently exemplified his unwavering loyalty to Dr. King's prescient words: "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Through his emphasis on spurring economic growth for startup companies and working families, he signed legislation putting New Jersey on the path to a $15 an hour minimum wage, enacted the nation's strongest equal pay law to combat gender wage discrimination, ensured all workers have access to paid sick days, and expanded the state's paid family leave provisions. He has also been a strong proponent in combating climate change, tackling gun violence, and expanding protections for immigrants, LGBTQ+ people, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a message from the governor of the great state of New Jersey, Phil D. Murphy.
Hello, New Jersey. Governor Phil Murphy here. I want to thank our incredible Secretary of State, Tahisha Way, for hosting this important event and for her kind invitation to me to be a part of today's program. It is my honor to join with all of you in celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year, as we spend time giving back to our communities and reflecting on the message of Dr. King, the violence of the attack on our Capitol is still fresh in our minds. Contrast those images with the violent response that we saw for Black Lives Matter protesters over the summer, and it is impossible not to see the difference. It's hard to believe that it's been more than 5 decades since we lost Dr. King. But in these dark times, his words still serve as our guide forward. Through our shock and revulsion, he reminds us, and I quote him, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Across every community, this year has been a difficult one. Tragedy has visited us in the form of illness, suffering, loss, and uncertainty. And while no community has been left untouched, this pandemic has revealed further what we have long known: that inequality and inequity rooted in structural racism persist, and the effects on our Black and brown communities are real and unmistakable. Our current national reckoning on policing, representation, and justice is proof that while many are willing and ready to reconcile with the sins of our nation's past, some are not. But Dr. King also said, and I'll quote him again, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." The election of Reverend Raphael Warnock, the first Black senator, to represent the state of Georgia, and pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. King himself preached. His election stands as irrefutable evidence that this nation is capable of change. And yet 24 hours later, a mob driven by anger and racial grievance and misinformation showed us just how far we still have to go. But one of the most remarkable things about this year is that when so many things seemed to stand still, the movement started by young people kept moving forward. Black Lives Matter, Me Too, the fight against climate change. And you are achieving results. We put in place one of our country's strongest environmental justice laws. It became the first state in the nation to incorporate climate change across all K through 12 education standards. I'm incredibly proud that last year we continued on our quest to end mass incarceration and to further our second chance agenda in sentencing reform, expanded expungement policies, and compassionate release programs. And we delivered a first of its kind use of force policy to ensure law enforcement is held to the highest professional standards, reaffirming New Jersey's position at the forefront of the national movement for justice. Those achievements were driven in large part by the involvement of young people. Let me be clear. Your lived experience, your values, and your participation in democracy help shape the direction of the state and indeed our nation. That is the legacy of Dr. King. So although this year does not look how you or I might have imagined it might, although we're still grappling with our demons, although we are all still fighting our way through, do not be discouraged. Dr. King also said, and I'll quote him again, the time is always right to do what is right. So keep pushing forward, and together we will build a stronger and fairer New Jersey, not just for some, but for everyone. Thank you all, and God bless you all.